Welcome to Pimpy's Investment Chat, where we keep investment talk simple. And here's your host, Pimpy.
What is going on out there, peeps? Let's get back to Iraq. I'm seeing all kinds of different rumors going off on different platforms as far as the dinar is concerned. I'm hearing people talk about other so-called YouTube gurus. I don't understand why they're called gurus when they're supposed to be teaching you something, and instead they just spread bullshit and rumors. Anyways, let's talk about what's going on in Iraq, because there has been a lot of talk about the Iraqi dinar exchange rate change and what we can expect and what is going on. Before we get started, do me a favor and hit the thumbs up button. If you're not a subscriber, please do so, because when you do, it helps out the channel, and I certainly do appreciate it. If you're thinking about buying gold and silver, go to our friends over at Money Metals Exchange. The link is down below in the description. If you're a first-time buyer and you spend more than $100, use promo code Pimpy, P-I-M-P-Y, and you will get an additional half ounce of silver with your order. In addition to that, it's a small way to help out the channel. Also, I want to remind everybody there is alternate platforms that I'm on. We have Pimpy's News Network, which is usually a place where we put videos that I cannot play on YouTube because its content is sensitive to YouTube. Also, come join us on Facebook. We do have a group called Pimpy's Investment Chat. I encourage you to come join us, because over here we do talk about gold, silver, cryptocurrencies, as well as foreign currencies and other investments as well. You can also find me over here on Twitter, as well as MeWe and YouTube. The link for all these social media platforms will be down below in the description. If for whatever reason I get knocked off of YouTube, you can find me over there at those other locations. Okay, so there's been a lot of talk about this up and coming budget. First of all, I'm shocked at how fast they're putting this thing together. Usually it takes forever. And like I stated before, Al-Kadhimi, poor guy, he only managed to have 6 months worth of budget during his time in office. They seem to be expediting this pretty quick. Now I'm hearing from all kinds of people saying, don't trust the news, they're lying, the rate change is going to be in there, or the news is saying that the rate change is going to be in there. It goes back and forth. The truth of the matter is nobody knows, and I don't give a crap what any of those other people are telling you out there in dinar world. They don't have no intel, they don't have anything like that. It's just BS. It's all speculation. That's all it is. I spoke about this before. They're not going to tell people when they actually change the rate. They could say all they want, but they're not going to announce it. It's illegal for them to do this. What we see is a lot of articles speculating. Now, the thing that I find interesting is those that support the coordinating framework are putting out into the environment that the rate change is going to be in this budget coming up, and that they're going to change the rate. They don't have a say-so. Soudini himself said that they have no say-so, and that this is the sole responsibility of the Iraqi central bank. That's it. We're hearing all kinds of rumors, and you see them in the news articles of people talking about the exchange rate at least being reinstated back to the original rate of 1,190 dinars per $1 bill. At least that's a step in the right direction. But is that really going to happen? We've seen articles before, especially coming from the Central Bank of Iraq, stating what? That the rate it is at is going to be there for 5 years. Now, this has been done before. We know this back in 2013 or 14, I think it was, when they said for 5 years, it's going to stay at this rate. Got to 2019, everybody was excited about it, except for it went in the wrong direction. They devalued the currency. The central bank has already said the people starting the rumors are those who gain from these rumors. Once the word gets out that a rate change is going to happen, you see there's a bunch of people rushing out to buy the Iraqi dinars, causing them to go up in value, although it's a slight value, but it's enough to make money off of it. And then you hear people come out the next day saying, no, those are rumors. So just be careful from all the BS and all the rumors, because that's all it is for now until they actually do it. So my suggestion is, it doesn't make a difference who says what. Why don't we just wait until we actually see that they've made a rate change, okay? So this way there's no speculation about it. Expectations of the form of the 2023 budget, operation, or investment. So committee member Jamal Cougar told the news that the budget for the year 2023 will be somewhat different, especially the investment budget in it. The operations, it would be similar. As for investments, we believe it would be different, as the budget is supposed to include job opportunities, support for the private sector, and support for small projects. We also expect that it will include steps that lead to the construction of strategic projects such as the roads and dams. Cougar stressing that the need to focus on these areas. The former rapporteur of the Parliamentary Finance Committee described the 2023 budget as the largest in the history of Iraq. Well, they definitely have the surplus to do it, and let's just hope that the money goes to all the right projects so that Iraq can finally get back on track to rebuilding a lot that was lost during all these wars that's been going on there. Not to mention the fact that it should provide plenty of jobs for those in Iraq, especially the youth. Said the Prime Minister Soudani announced at a press conference that the government will present the draft federal financial budget bill for 2023 to the House of Representatives soon. So look, they're not wasting no time. They're jumping on us right away. I like that. And yes, I know people are talking about there being a rate change inside the budget. I've mentioned that article as well, only to hear that the Central Bank of Iraq came out the next day saying that it wasn't true. Remember, the people that are supposed to make the announcement are the central bank, not the government of Iraq. Al-Sandi had directed the Ministry of Finance to send a draft budget law for the year 2023 Ministerial Council for Economy as soon as possible to study it, and then send it to the General Secretariat of the Council of Ministers to include it on the agenda of the Councils of Ministers in order to expedite its legislation due to its importance. Sundin comments on the budget. It says, from 6 Axis, Al-Sandi is preparing to launch a big reform project for the economy. Says an advisor for the Prime Minister revealed that the Prime Minister is preparing to launch a major reform project for the Iraqi economy. The chief advisor for economic affairs said in a press statement that Al-Sandin is carrying out a major reform project for Iraq's economy as a first step for the executive authority. I have to say, so far, it appears that he's still following the white paper reforms that Al-Kadhimi has put forward. There isn't any really major changes. He seems to just keep following the reform papers, which is a good thing because they said it was going to take about 3 to 5 years to get back on track if they followed the reform papers. He added that this project works to consolidate a large competitive market, protect vulnerable segments, support the local product significantly, conduct banking reform that enables the agency to have correspondent banks abroad, adopt international standards in the field of banking reforms, and reduce corruption by fighting it. Now, the interesting thing about this banking reform, you can see right there where it says adopt international standards. We know that the way Iraq was doing banking was really outdated. Their systems were outdated. We know that their banking has been getting modified. The software has been modified to get more in line with what's going on internationally. My hopes are that once all the reform is taken place, that we're going to be able to see Iraq bought and sold again at our local banks. They should have the restrictions removed off of them, and hopefully we see them on a 4X. Then the market will determine the actual value of the Iraqi dinar. This article finishes by saying, and he indicated that these things are added to the empowerment of the private sector and the improvement of the business environment, expressing his hope that the economic activity outside the state will move forward. So here we go from the central bank. Let's hear what they have to say. The central bank governor, the current dollar price will be established for years, and there is no intentions to change it in any way. Now, we know that the coordinated framework as well as Sauder had made promises to have the rate change happen. And I said that Maliki's pretty sneaky and he's pretty corrupt. And if he has it his way, he will find a way to change the dinar. But right now, he's having a hard time finding his place within the government. The current government doesn't seem to want to have him involved at all. So what kind of influence is Maliki going to have? It remains to be seen, but he is sneaky. So let's hear what the central bank says about the exchange rate. It says the current dollar price will be established for years, and there is no intention to change it in any way. So we're talking about, this is the governor of the Central Bank of Iraq, Mustafa Ghalib, announced that the current dollar exchange rate in the country will be established for years. In other words, they have no intentions on changing it for a few years. He says that we do not intend in any way to prejudice the current exchange rate of the US dollar against the Iraqi dinar. He added that the current price will be fixed for many more years to come. Well, if our dollar starts to crash, then I don't think that's going to be true. They're not going to have a choice. They're going to have to make changes depending on the direction the dollar goes into. Al-Sudini said in a press conference on the 1st of this month that the decision to change the exchange rate in the past was not accompanied by protection measures for the poor, medium, or low-income orders, and this exacerbated the problem and its negative repercussions on citizens. But he stressed that the government is committed to implementing laws as well as the law of the central bank, which authorizes this institution to formulate monetary policies and the decisions and policies that the central bank deems necessary. We will maintain and support the independence of the bank as it is the only party concerned with the issue of the exchange rate. So, one, you have the central bank saying that they're the only ones that have the say-so on the exchange rate, and they have no intentions of changing it for years to come. You have the prime minister coming out saying that they have no intentions on going against the Central Bank of Iraq, and that the Central Bank of Iraq has a final say-so on determining the exchange rate. So you have the prime minister and the central bank saying there's no intentions on changing the rate. All the other articles are just rumors coming from within the coordinating framework. Like I said before, people can go back and forth all day long based on this, or the special handshake, one waving fairy dust insider is going to tell them whatever. It's just BS. The truth of the matter is, it's not going to take long till we find out what's really going on. And as soon as that draft budget comes out and we see it, we're going to know if there's a rate change in there. And if there is one, how much. But most likely, according to the more recent articles, it doesn't look like the Central Bank of Iraq has any intentions on changing the exchange rate. So this tells me a couple of things. We know that the Biden administration is trying to put the squeeze on Iran. We also know that Iran benefits greatly from the currency auctions. We also know that when they devalued the Iraqi dinar against the dollar, it affected Iran because there's all kinds of corruptions taking place in which Iran benefits from it greatly. So with the reduction of the Iraqi dinar affected Iran, it appears that this current administration has no intentions on helping Iran by changing the exchange rate back. In addition to that, we noticed that they're not going out of their way to put Maliki in any place within the government. So Al-Sudini appears to be sticking to the reform papers that were put forward by Al-Kadhimi. And he doesn't look like he's doing any of the bidding for the coordinating framework. But this government is just now getting formed. It's just now starting to rock and roll. We're going to see the budget here shortly. We're going to find out what the truth is as far as the exchange rate is concerned. I know it's frustrating to people. I know there's a lot of so-called gurus out there blowing hopium up your butt and promising you all kinds of things. But the truth of the matter is they don't know. We will find out soon. Anyways, that's it for now, you guys. I look forward to reading your comments and getting back to you. I'll get back at you later. I'm out.